Good day, fam, and welcome or welcome back to another episode of JustReikkoTV. It's just me, Rico, and I'm gonna be your host for today. Now, if you've been following my channel for the past few years, I've definitely been focused on the fashion part of my life. And while fashion still plays a big part of my life, I've really kind of like switched my focus and priority on like healthy eating, healthy living, and things like that. And so for this past season, I decided that I wanted to start my own garden. I wanted to grow my own organic fruits and vegetables. That way I can know where my things are coming from, and also to cut down on going out to the grocery store because it is just continuing to get more and more expensive. So I decided to come back on here and start a new lifestyle portion of my videos, and it is going to be called my garden series. Now within this series, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be starting out with garden tours. I'm going to be showing you guys a tour of my garden every single week. I'll be showing you guys progress that's been made. I'll be harvesting with you guys and all of those good things. Most of the fruits and vegetables was planted out just 2 weeks ago, and so much has happened within these past few weeks, especially growth. Now, I did start off my garden series over on TikTok, so I'll leave my TikTok information down below so you guys can see what I've been doing prior to getting all of my fruits and vegetables out in the garden. I really hope that you guys enjoy this series because it's something that I'm really beginning to be a lot more passionate about. So please feel free to let me know down in the comments if this is something that you're going to be interested in, and if there's any advice or anything you want to give me, because I am a brand new gardener. All of the information, all of the things that I've learned over the past few months have been from doing a lot of research, watching a lot of other YouTubers and things like that. So I am very excited to share this journey with you guys. All right, so come along with me and tour my garden. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys a quick span of how the garden looks before I actually step in and give you guys the tour. Right here, this trellis right here, this arch trellis is going to be my melon trellis, where I'm going to be growing my watermelons as well as my cantaloupes and honeydew melons. All right. So when we first enter into the garden space, you see a pop of color on both sides of my arch trellis, and these are going to be snapdragons. Snapdragons are beautiful plants that just have this beautiful growth on them. Now, the unfortunate thing is that the weather has been so iffy here in Zone 6B in Pittsburgh that the plants got out there late. And these plants can really only deal with temperatures up to like 75 degrees. So I'm not expecting to see blooms on them for too long, because the weather is going to start being in like the 80s and things like that in the next few days. Coming over here, starting on the left side of my trellis, right over here is going to be my sweet onions. And my sweet onions have just been looking like really good. I've had them planted out here for about a month now because they're a little bit more cold hardy. So I planted them out before I planted out a lot of my other fruits and vegetables. Coming right over here with, you see my carrots. The same thing for my carrots. I planted these out about May the 2nd because they are better to be direct sown and they love cooler weather as well. So I started those a little over a month ago and have been seeing really nice growth. Right in the middle there at first, I didn't see much growth, so I put some more seeds out, and that's why you see some smaller plants right there. They call that succession growing. Right over here is going to be my very first tomato plant. Now, this is a semi-determinate tomato plant, which basically means that these tomatoes will not be growing all season long, but there'll be growth throughout the season, but not too much as a indeterminate tomato plant. And then right over here is just a little marigold plant that I planted out there, down there a few days ago, and that's just to help deter the pests. All right. Right over here on the left side of the melon trellis, you have my sugar baby watermelons. This first sugar baby watermelon, both of these I planted out 2 weeks ago when I planted out most of my garden. But I started these seeds indoors. This one I started on April the 19th. And in these past 2 weeks, there's just been like a huge burst of growth. This one right over here, I planted out on the 17th of May, and I started that inside because my other watermelon plant didn't look like it was doing too good, but it actually ended up bouncing back, and I just have it over on the table with like the extra plants that I have to plant out in case my other plants go bad. So, but I've been seeing nice growth on this so far, so super excited about that. Coming over here on the other side of my melon trellis, these are where I keep my cantaloupes and honeydew melon. Now, the thing is, the weather has, like I said, has been so up and down. When I first planted out my honeydew melon as well as the cantaloupe in that last bag over there, the weather dropped to like 40 degrees and they both died out. I did have an extra honeydew melon plant to the side. It wasn't doing too good, but I was like, let me just plant this out to see if it'll catch and it'll start to grow pretty nice. But right there in the middle where I have the space from the mulch is where I planted 2 more seeds about a week ago, and I have not been seeing no action from the seeds. Right over here is going to be my honey rock cantaloupe. And since I've planted this out, it's just been really, really looking really good. This is one that I planted out like 2 weeks ago. Right over there, in that one, you don't see anything. That was my hearts of gold cantaloupe that was just not cold resistant. And it was another one that actually died off. So yeah, if in the next week I don't see germination on that, then I do have another honey rock melon. Then I'll just plant it out over there. So you guys will see that in the next video if it doesn't germinate. Right over here are going to be my red and white potatoes. I planted my potatoes around the 2nd of June. I meant the 2nd of May as well, the same time that I planted out my carrots. And you've just seen a nice burst of growth from both of them. I'm thinking about adding more compost to this because it's looking like they're growing so much, and I can probably do with a little bit more compost. But yeah, these are my red and white potatoes that's been looking good. Right over here, you have my sweet potato slips. These sweet potato slips was planted out about 3.5 weeks ago. And I didn't think that they were going to really do anything. But actually, since it started raining and things like that, I've kind of like seen a really, really nice burst of growth from these 2 sweet potato slips. Like I said, they started off as 2 small slips, and now they're just like growing like crazy. Super excited about that. All right, right over here is my big patch. And we're gonna start off right here with my 2 broccoli plants. Now, I to be honest, I don't know. I might still do it, but I don't know about growing broccoli again next year, because when I tell you, man, there are so many pests that are attracted to like broccoli plants or brassica that I literally have to like make sure that these plants are covered up every single night, and I have to constantly check on them to make sure there aren't any like pests or anything like that that is growing on them, man, because they attract so many like bugs and things like that. All of these like little holes on them and stuff, these are like from bugs and aphids and stuff. But that's part of the reason why I wanted to start off small on my garden, because I wanted to be able to be very diligent in being sure that I'm checking for pests and making sure that my plants and things like that are okay. Right over here is going to be my red onions, and my red onions are not doing anywhere near as good as my sweet onions. There's definitely slower growth on them, but there is still growth nonetheless. So I feel pretty good about that. Right in the middle right here are going to be my 4 strawberry plants that I have planted. These first 2 are jewel raspberries, and then these other 2 are gonna be honey oil strawberries. And when I tell you, they just came out of dormancy a few weeks ago, so I'm not sure if I should be expecting to see any strawberries this season. These are June bearing strawberries. If I do see any strawberries, it'll be all the way up until like the middle of July, but I haven't seen any flowers or anything like that to give me any sign that I'll be getting any strawberries this season, which is okay. Right over here, we have our spinach and romaine, and there's actually been pretty good growth on the romaine lettuce. The spinach, it started off a little bit slower, but I'm starting to see growth, and I'm excited about having some romaine and or spinach within the next 4 weeks. This bag right here has just been extremely difficult. I planted scallions in this bag since like May the 2nd, and I have not seen like any scallions or anything like that grow. So then I decided to add some cilantro to it to see if I'll see any growth from the cilantro. And there's been minimal growth for cilantro on there. So in the next week, if I don't see any progress, then I'm gonna go ahead and add something else to that. Right over here is going to be my cayenne pepper. And my cayenne pepper was planted out here about 2 weeks ago, and they look really good. Lots of nice flowers and stuff like that are blooming on them. I actually have another cayenne pepper plant on my table on the other side, and it actually started to grow a cayenne pepper on it. So that is super crazy. Now, in all of my pepper plants, you're going to see it be companion planted with a marigold, and the marigold is kind of like to help get the pests away, but they haven't grown any flowers on them yet. These 2 plants right here are going to be my habanero pepper plants. Slow growth on them, but definitely growth nonetheless. So I'm excited about those habanero peppers. My plan is to make some hot sauce and things like that, pickle some of the peppers that I have. So I'm mostly excited about my pepper plants over everything else. Right over here, this is really the only pepper plant that's been giving me problems. I had to cut off some of the leaves because they just started really dying off. This pepper, this is a hot pepper. It's supposed to be like a Scotch bonnet. I got it from a Caribbean market and there was no name to it. So I just took it home and made some seeds from it. And this is what has grown. It's finally starting to show me a little bit of growth. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. Right over here are going to be my 2 habanero pepper plants. They're starting to get like little flowers and stuff like that on them too. So I'm excited about seeing them grow. Like this stalk right here has gotten like so thick, man. It is just crazy like what 2 weeks can do. Right over here is going to be my bell peppers. let me see. My bell peppers have been kind of like getting ate up a little bit by pests as well. I try to make sure that I come out every morning and making sure that I'm checking on them and making sure that they not getting ate up all the doggone way. But like, yeah, pests have been getting to them, but there's still been nice growth on them. I'm just really ready for the marigolds to grow to kind of like prevent the pests from tearing them up. If it gets too bad, which it hasn't gotten too bad right now, but if it gets too bad, then I'll just add some neem oil. Right over here is going to be my blueberry bush. And just like the strawberries, this was a dormant plant and I planted it a few weeks ago. I'm just expecting to see green this season. This is called a top bush blueberry plant. So it's not supposed to grow like really big or anything like that. But either way, I'm not expecting to see blueberries on there this season. Coming right over here in the corner of the garden, we actually have my crimson sweet watermelon. And my plan is to allow this to kind of like grow up the fence and then kind of like grow all along it in this little area right here. That's kind of like why I put like the hay and stuff like that down there so that they'll have something to rest on when they actually grow out. And then right here, this is my cucumber, tomato, and green bean trellis that I actually handmade. And I feel so proud of myself about doing that. But right here with the green beans, look, you can see right here already in 2 weeks, there's already like little green beans that are already like starting to grow off of like one of the plants. The other plant, not much luck. And this plant is another one that's just been getting beat up by the weather, but they're being really persistent, and I continue to see new green leaves on them. Right over here is my indeterminate tomato plant. It's called the drusba, and indeterminate, did I say potato or tomato? Tomato. So my indeterminate tomato plant, and indeterminate basically means that it's going to be growing all season. This is a bad bug. That's a beetle. That's not good. So yeah, so this is supposed to be growing like throughout the full season, and it's supposed to get to be about 7 to 8 feet tall. This trellis in itself is about 7 feet. Right over here, I have my 2 cucumber plants as well. These were also planted out like literally 2 weeks ago, and they've just burst in growth throughout all the weather situations. And then look right here. This is actually a little cucumber on there, and I actually just hand pollinated it with one of the male flowers. And then I think there's going to be under there, I don't know if you guys can see, but there is another cucumber plant that's starting to grow off of that. So super excited about that. Right over here is going to be another one of my crimson sweet watermelons. And like the sugar baby, I planted this on May 17th, and I just have this so it'll grow along the other side of this fence right there. Now, coming around, just 1 week ago, when the weather finally lifted and they decided that the weather was going to be minimal in the 60s, going up to the 70s and 80s moving forward, I planted my sweet corn. And I'm super excited. I have 4 bags of sweet corn because I love sweet corn. And they only grow like 1 to 2 corn per stalk. So in each one of these 20-gallon grow bags, I have 6 seeds that I grew in each. And most of the grow bags have germinated at least 5 seeds. None of them has germinated all 6, which I'm okay with. I'm going to move the bags to be kind of like 2 in the front and 2 in the back so that they can get pollinated. But I think I'm going to be doing a lot of hand pollination with them as well. But if you look, you can see little corn plants have decided to kind of like pop up. So I'm really excited about that. But just to back up a little bit and give you guys another pan of what my garden is looking like. I got a little fence thing right here going along the front to prevent the animals from getting in. But this is a look at my garden. So yeah, guys, that was my very first garden tour of 2025. I really hope that you guys enjoy this video, because I'm really enjoying like growing my own fruits and vegetables, learning more, and knowing that my things are really organic. I don't have to worry about any recalls or anything like that. In future videos, I'll be explaining to you guys more about some of the issues that I've been going through, like dealing with like pests and aphids and things like that, because it's more than just putting these plants like in the dirt. You have to make sure that you feed them things like bone meal and blood meal and earthworm castings, making sure they're watered properly, making sure that you're watering the right plants at the right time. So this is not easy work, but definitely fulfilling, and definitely something that I've been loving. So please continue to watch my videos. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and actually share the videos with your friends, man. It's just me, Rico, from JustReikkoTV. And until the next time, fam, peace.